My first entrepreneurial journey was selling weed and cocaine to the neighborhood kids. Turns out you can go to jail for that stuff, so that didn't work out very well for me.
What do you think is the craziest thing you've done in business?
2022, I was like, I think we can go bigger. So I
Mhm.
rented out an entire hockey stadium. Everybody always says, "What's the secret to having all this cool stuff?" It's just work hard, you know?
Welcome, guys, to another Making Feria podcast. My name is Christopher Medina, and today I have a super special guest. We got Ryan Stewman here. Brother, thank you so much for taking the time to be on my podcast, and it's great. I've been following you for years, but tell the audience a little bit about who you are and what you got going on, brother.
Well, I am thank you, first of all, for having me on the show, man. Appreciate it. And thank you for reaching out to me, inviting me. I'm a husband, a father. I'm a business owner and part-time rancher and outdoor enthusiast, but the internet, some of the people that follow me on Instagram know me as Hardcore Closer. I've been a salesman my whole life and an entrepreneur for the majority of my adult life. And so actually I've been an entrepreneur for the majority of my life at this point. So I've owned and built several businesses over the years that have gone on to be pretty successful and live a pretty good life, But in all reality, I'm just a dude that just works hard. I mean, that's that everybody always says, "What's the secret to having all this cool stuff?" It's just work hard.
Work hard. Yeah, yeah, definitely. That's right. The hardcore closer. Yeah, I've been following you for a couple years. I know you got your book, The G Code, and now you got some new books coming out. Is that right?
We don't have any coming out, but we got, man, you look up my name on Amazon, there's a shitload of books. I've written 14 and I've written the foreword to like 100.
14? 14 books?
Yeah.
Okay, nice, nice. So cool. So let's get started here. So for the, tell the people, how did you get into entrepreneurship? I know you just mentioned that you've done it basically all your life, same here. I remember I started selling Gatorades in high school, but tell us a little bit about your story.
Well, my first entrepreneurial journey was selling weed and cocaine to the neighborhood kids.
Okay.
And uh turns out you can go to jail for that stuff. So that didn't work out very well for me. It did for a couple of years, but for a couple more years, not so much. And in 2004, I was working at a car wash and I was like selling car washes for them and stuff like that. And a customer gave me a job opportunity to go into the finance business. And technically, I was 1099 in 2000, and it might have been 2003, but I'm pretty sure it's 2004. But technically, I was 1099 at that job, which was like my first real, I get a 1099 for the year. I'm an entrepreneur, but I didn't really think of it that way. I thought of it as, well, I'm a loan officer for this company. But then in
Yeah.
2005, I started a company called um, New Home, what Lifestyle Connections, and that was my first LLC that I ever started. And what I did was I went and connected real estate investors to builders so that they could buy their existing inventory at a cheaper price than retail. Right? Basically, I made a little bit of money in between. Modern day, they would call that wholesaling, and became very, very damn successful because of that. I made my first $1 million, and again, this is all 2005, so this is almost 20 years ago. And but that was definitely my first. I went to a seminar and I saw how these guys were teaching to flip houses, and I got my hands on some of the seminar training that they were doing, and went out and did the shit. Lo and behold, it worked. You can make money from this stuff. And
Yeah.
now I've been an entrepreneur for 20 years since then. I've had to take a couple of um in 2008, 1099 employees in the banking system went to W2, so I was technically employed again, but it was a commission only job. And then in 2011, I worked at a car dealership for just a short period of time to make sure my then pregnant wife had health insurance in case something went wrong with the babe. Because, the insurance is expensive for an entrepreneur. Right now, I'm
Yeah,
paying
yeah,
like
no, it
three
is.
grand a month for health insurance for my family. So back then when I was trying to hustle and figure this whole shit out, that was just an unneeded expense. So I went work somewhere else and let them pay for it in case something goes wrong, dude. Hospital bills can add up quickly.
Definitely, definitely. Okay, cool. So you did that, and then so that you said that was like some buy flip homes.
Yeah, my first LLC where I was like a CEO of something and all that good
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah, we were buying and flipping. We weren't flipping homes. We would go find people that wanted to invest in real estate. They wanted to have some cash flow or they wanted to own a home in another state. It was a lot of people from Los Angeles that were buying here in Dallas at the time. And so what I would do is I would go to like a DR Horton who was nowhere near as big as they are now, but I go to the DR Horton, mid-level management and say, "Hey, what neighborhoods around DFW do you guys have leftover houses that are ugly or they're the lot smaller that you just can't seem to move to a normal homeowner?" And so they would give me a report every month of all of these houses, and it might be 180 back then. It was 180 grand, but they'd sell it to me for 160 if I could just get it off their books. So I'd go sell it to someone for 165, make $5,000 in between, but it was just shuffling paperwork. And I would get a list with shit 100 to 150 of these homes, what's coming in the next months, what's coming, in the next 90 days that's going to be done. I had Pulte, DR Horton, Beazer, Mercedes. So I had a whole bunch of builders that I was doing this with. Basically, I compiled a spreadsheet and then just sent it out to all the investors and made money from it. Every time they bought something, I made 5 grand.
Nice. So it's basically wholesaling, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Sweet deal. Do you still do that now? Is that like your main business, or I don't
No, I don't do anything in residential real estate anymore. Um, Matter of fact, I'm actually selling off all my single family properties. I've got four left. I've been selling them off for about a year and a half now. I've got four left that got one of them on the market. Another one goes on the market next month, and then I'll sell the last two next year. So no,
know?
it at this point in my career, it takes too much time and effort to flip a house versus what I do elsewhere.
Definitely, definitely. So you got a few things going on.
Yep.
Awesome,
Yes,
awesome.
sir.
So that was your first breakthrough. Cool, cool. And so what hurdles did you have to encounter, and how did you get through those?
Well, like in what context?
So right now, so you did the wholesaling, a little bit of flips, and then so now after that, how many years did you do that?
Well, I did that all the way up until probably 2018 or 2019. Yeah, probably 2019. I don't think I flipped a house since then. And maybe early 2020, but you know, uh, it's been like everything else, but it's always been a side hustle for me, the house thing. I always had a full-time gig. I was a loan officer and I flipped houses on the side. And even when my side income was making me more money than my mortgage income, then it's just, hey, I make a couple hundred grand a year doing mortgages, couple hundred grand a year flipping houses on the side. It's just more money that I was able to stack up, especially back then before I had kids or a
Yeah,
wife or any of that stuff that gets really expensive really quick. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely. Okay, cool. Yeah, so you built these ecosystems around real estate. So
Yep.
after you left that in 2018, 2019, what did you move on to? Or
Well, so like I said, we flipped houses. I've done that for a long time now. But in 2008, I started generating leads from Facebook as a mortgage guy.
yeah,
And by 2010, I had left my mortgage business and I was teaching people how to get leads on Facebook, just loan officers, not like anybody else, just specifically mortgage guys.
yeah,
And because that was all I was qualified to teach. I wasn't trying to become a coach. I was just going, y'all, have y'all seen this shit? Yo, you got to check this out. This works. Now
yeah,
that's normal that you're going to get business from social media. But in 2010, 14 years ago, there were no Ty Lopez, Grant Cardone, Gary Vaynerchuk characters on the internet. Those guys were alive, obviously, and doing their thing, but they weren't on social media. It was uncharted territory, and so I blazed that trail there and just got, I saw the vision early and really blazed that trail and started off doing, little 5-person events where I showed them how to set up their Facebook and how to build a quick website funnel and, get leads from that, and continued doing that. After about 2 years of doing that, I had this idea. I was like, listen, I want loan officers. That's my ideal client. If I can What do loan officers want? Well, they want real estate agents to get referrals from. So if I can go and get a bunch of real estate agents and have them know me, then I can send referrals to the loan officers that do business with me and come to my events. And I know it'll be a win-win situation for the loan officer getting a referral, the realtor getting help getting leads so they get more listings, and me, because I can use that as like a lead magnet offer. Hey, I know the hottest real estate agent in your area. So if you come in and do the work, I'll introduce you to them. So I reached out to the guys through social media that were on TV, like the $1 Million Listing New York, $1 Million Listing Los Angeles, and end up doing masterminds with Josh Flagg and Frederick Eklund. And there was one other guy, uh, but the main two were Josh Flagg and Frederick Eklund. And we got thousands of realtors to, be a part of this mastermind. It was a pretty cheap ticket price. They were part of this mastermind. And I wasn't the leader of the mastermind. Clearly the guys from TV were, but I did all the sales and I had all the relationships because they just showed up and spoke. I'm the one doing the sales, building the relationships, moving the tickets to the mastermind, all that. So I built all these relationships. Then I started helping the agents for free, leverage them to get more loan officers to come do business with me. And I did that from, like I said, 2010 till we still do it now. It's just that we don't do it just exclusively for loan officers anymore. We have a network called the Apex, and it's a business association. It's a few thousand members strong. And what we do is we help people become better at everything, their mind, their body, their business, the people that they have in their life, for relationships. So our company mission is to help as many people as possible become the greatest version of themselves. And it costs money to become great. You know what I'm saying? It just is. Whatever you want to be great at, it's
Very
going to
true.
cost you money. So money's a big factor in that. You got to, if you're going to have a gym membership, you need to be able to afford it. If you're going to eat meal prep, you need to be able to afford it. If you're going to grow and scale a business, you need to go make money to afford that, right? If you're going to feed a family, you got to go make money to afford that. So we help people. Money's a big core principle there, because if we can get our money right, then we can start to get the rest of our life right as well.
Definitely. Yeah, no, it makes sense. Yeah, you got to pay to play sometimes. So that's awesome. So that's called Apex, right?
Yes, sir.
Apex. Sweet. Awesome. So just anybody could join. It's like like you said, it's like a program that just helps you in all areas of life, including business.
Yeah, we have one level that anybody can join. So there's three tiers. We basically have two principles that I believe when it comes to running a business, right? If you're going to make more money as the business owner, then you've got to increase revenue. That means, increase your sales conversions and increase your lead gen, which increases your ad spend, like the things that you need to do to be able to get your numbers right, but increase revenue. Second is decrease overhead, right? How many, you might have to fire a couple of employees. You might be overpaying for software that you can get somewhere else cheaper. So we look at it that way. And then the third thing is minimizing taxes. And so we've got a partner of ours that has AI that'll read your tax returns and tell your CPA all the places and deductions that they miss. So pretty
Wow.
cool stuff. So we believe when you increase revenue, decrease overhead, and minimize your taxes, that's when you get to keep the most money as a business owner. So we're really we really focus on those three things in the money aspect. On the second thing, we believe there's 4 levels to business and 8 skills that you have to master. So level 1, you work for somebody, you're in sales, and you need to learn sales and marketing so you can get your own leads and close your own deals, and you can make money and figure out the rest of the business shit later, right? The
Yeah.
second level, once you master sales and marketing, is being self-employed. At the self-employed level, you need hiring and training, right? You got the marketing and the sales thing figured out. You need people to start selling and marketing for you. You got to learn how to hire and train, or you're going to remain self-employed forever. The third level is the executive. And at that level, you've got people working for you. So you really got to master brand building and leadership. And the fourth and final level of entrepreneurship is being an owner. And that's where you're not working on the business, you just own it. And at that point, you need financial management and tax minimization. So we have three levels in Apex because I'm not an owner of any business. Like I'm not in that bracket yet. I still work in all of mine. So I don't teach what I don't know, but we have three levels. So anybody can join the employee level and its application process for the self-employed and the executive level.
Okay. No, yeah, that's great. That's definitely sums it up. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at, where I already got like the sales and the marketing. So I'm just trying to build out my team and scale because we have two offices here in Los Angeles. And right now it's just about building that team. And that way I don't have to be working so much in the business rather than on the business, you know.
Yeah, I'll show you this, man. Uh, let me see if I can pull it up here.
Yeah,
Should just be able to pull up my desktop. Uh, hold on a second here.
sure.
Yeah, because I love this chart that I'm about to show you because it's really like the blueprint for how to run a business, and most of us never get to see just something so simple that works like this. Let me pull it up here.
Yeah.
Sure. So you can see this, right? So it shows you that like a solopreneur, right? The self-employed person, they got one employee, there's 22 million of them in America alone, and they're usually doing 0 to $100,000, right? And some people that can be outliers on the money, but that's generally what's happening. At that
Yeah.
level, you need to invest your time, right? It just takes time. That's when you hear these guys, they're grinding all night. I'm working 24/7, fuck holidays, those kind of guys, right? They're in that bracket trying to get ahead. Once you got this says partnership, but I don't particularly like partnerships, but at this point you got 2 to 3 employees, right? Look at the
Yeah.
difference between 2 to 3 employees and one employee. 22 million to 1.7 million. 1/10, damn
Yeah.
near 1/10. It's actually 1/12, I believe, if I did that math right. 1/12 of the businesses make it to 2 or 3 employees.
Wow. Okay.
Then you get to the steady operation. That's the people going to a million. Usually takes 4 employees, and there's 1.9 million companies that are actually the steady operation, 4 to 10 employees.
Yeah.
Then you get over to 1 to 3 million, you're the local and at this level you got marketing and service, by the way, right? Partnership,
Yeah. That,
salesmanship. Then the local success story, 11 to 20 employees, there's only 700,000. When you get up to the bottom here, setting the vision, hiring the vision, strategic planning, leadership development, most people don't understand that. They get to a point where they're like, okay, we got 21 to 50 employees. Let's get better at sales and marketing. When at that point, you're supposed to be hiring the vision and strategic planning for your exit, right? Um,
yeah.
but look, man, there's only 300,000 companies that do 3 million or more a year, less than 100,000 companies that do 10 million, and 90,000 that do 20 million plus. So from 22 million to 90,000 in that chart. But the key is once you hire these people, and look, once you get to a certain number, now it's set the vision, hire to the vision,
Yeah.
strategic planning. That's where most people miss out because most people are like, yeah, I just need sales and marketing. That's not going to
Yeah.
get it. And you'll
Yeah.
find out
I'm not like, sorry, go ahead.
these days, most of the people that you hire, they're not money motivated anyway. I don't know that my generation wasn't that way, but
Yeah.
they want to be a part of something. They want to be able to fit into a group and stuff like that. And that's more important to them a lot of times than money, which is crazy, you know?
Indeed. Indeed. Yeah. I mean, I'm at number 4 as far as like generating sales. I'm like at I'm almost at like at 2 million in annual sales. But I only have 3 employees. So that's why I'm like trying to build out my team. And then, like you said, set the vision for that eventually one day exit.
Yeah,
Cool.
when you're building a team like that, it's inevitable that you're most likely gonna have to take a step back. So you're gonna have to invest your time, your training, that stuff, because you're a small group right now. But if I were you where you're at in the financial side of things, um, if you weren't making that much money, I wouldn't advise this, but you have enough money to afford this and really skip the line. But I would hire a true operator, somebody who can come in, recruit people, interview people, hire people, train people, like your next person to come in. Obviously that's going to be a six-figure salary, but they could fill that place up with people and have you up and running, and it'd be a step back from your money a little bit because you're coming off a six-figure salary, but at the
Yeah.
same time you're going to be light years ahead because you didn't have to come back and train and hire and interview, which keeps you away from sales and marketing and customer fulfillment and all that other shit when you're running with just a couple people.
True, true. And I mean, what's the best way to find an operator? Because that's the tricky part, right? Because I mean, you can always just hire people off of Indeed or LinkedIn, but what would you say is the best way to find that good operator and put them to the test?
I would look at who's your competition, and or who's been in your industry. Maybe you sell hearing aids, maybe they've sold braces. You know what I mean? Like they were working for a dentist selling braces, but that was their part of the operations. Like I would look for somebody because you're not gonna find them on Indeed. You can find salespeople and shit on Indeed, but the person
Yeah.
you're looking for is gainfully employed somewhere. But
Okay.
but they may not like it, you know what I mean? And you may have a better opportunity for growth for them. You might be able to present a short-term compensation downgrade for them, but long-term upside for them that they're not getting at their current place. But
Okay.
they're not going to be somebody filling guys that are operators, that are managers, operators, HR people. They're rarely on those job sites because they don't want their current employer to know that they're on the market.
Yeah, definitely. So I might have to go find some talent, and
That's it,
yeah.
man. That's the move, is to hire. Well, we call it here. We don't call it HR. We call it oh shit, I'm drawing a blank all of a sudden. But basically our division for HR is somebody having interviews all day, every day, somebody going out and recruiting. They're in, they're head of managing people. That becomes a job in itself. Cause man, dude, I suck at hiring people. I want to give
Yeah.
everybody a chance. I think, oh, everything's trainable, everything's fixable. That's just how I am. I need somebody on my team that can go out there and have those conversations and figure all that shit out if it's going to work or not for me.
Okay. No, yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. So let's talk a little bit. So I've been following you too on Facebook. You have like one of the biggest, or if not the biggest, the sales talks with the pros, right? Is that what it's called?
Yep. Sales
You
talk
run
with
that one?
sales pros.
Yeah. So what got you to start that group, and how has it benefited you, or as far as like with the big group like that?
I think I started that group in 2013. So it's been around for a long time. I'll tell you in 1 second here. It's been around for a really, really, really long time. And at the time, there wasn't anything. So December 3rd, 2014. So
Wow.
at the time, there wasn't anything like this. Nobody was using Facebook groups for industries and stuff. And so I started this sales talk with sales pros, and I don't really think nothing of it. I just thought it'd be a cool place for us to hang out and shoot the shit. And, here we are 10 years later, believe it or not. And,
Yeah.
um, it's grown to be, a six-figure group, which is in itself kind of difficult because when you have a group that big, it becomes very hard to regulate, there's so many people in there, the algorithm doesn't get sure who to show your stuff. And right now, with it being election season, Facebook groups are suppressed a little bit because there's a lot of political groups that get together and that kind of shit. So um
Yeah.
but, over the years, that thing's made me tens of millions of dollars, probably hundreds of millions of dollars of connections and deals that have been done just from that group, if not more, and A lot of people have gotten jobs because they've met somebody in that group, or started a business with a partner because they met somebody in that group, or got a better gig selling with a higher commission at a boss that they like working with. So it's just been I saw that we just needed a forum where we could just be sales guys, not like professionals that are in there. It's like, hello guys, could you give me the, not just, we get in there, talk shit, have a good time, and motivate
Yeah.
each other and fuck with each other, and ask for help and stuff like that. So it's been crazy for 10 years to see that group staying pretty damn busy.
Go up. Yeah. No, yeah. Sometimes I go in there, just ask a question, and everybody's pretty helpful. They'll give you the 100% authentic answer, and it's very good. So so do you recommend for any entrepreneur in their industry to start a group like that and just kind of like recruit?
It's we're at a time where a lot of people have already done that. So the key is, if somebody's already built a group to 100,000 or 15,000 or 20,000, whatever the fucking number is, if somebody's already built that group, it already exists. Just go get active in there, because I don't have any more power in my group other than being able to ban somebody or something like that. I don't have any more power or ranking in that group than anybody else that's in that group. So someone like you could come in that group and make just as many friends as I have, and have just as many posts as I've made, and all that other shit. So there's no restrictions like that. So you go get into somebody else's group and just make friends. They're already there in one spot. You don't have to try to lure them away to another spot. Just go be a person of value in the spot, that the group that already exists. If it doesn't exist, create one. But
Mhm.
chances are it already exists. And if you're really an entrepreneur, yeah, you get in a group with other entrepreneurs. That's probably a pretty good idea, right? But I would get in a group where all my referral people are, right?
Yeah.
Let's say that I sell, software to marketing agencies. Like, cool, I can get in an entrepreneur group, but I'm also going to be looking for marketing agency groups to get in, so that I can add value to them and make friends with them and ultimately sell them my shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. No, yeah, that definitely makes sense. So yeah, go in there, talk to people, post, ask questions, offer value. Gotcha, gotcha. Okay. Cool. How so how did you scale your personal brand? Has that just been also throughout the years of just consistent content, giving value, or how would you say what's the best way for a person or somebody to scale their personal brand?
Just be consistent, like you're just be consistent. And for me, I've been making a post on Facebook for like daily since 2008. So my audience can depend that I'm going to give them something every day, right? Something funny, something insightful, something about business, something about my kids or my wife or whatever. And at some point, like I said, I started doing this in 2008. So this isn't like some overnight success story or
Yeah.
whatever. We're almost 20 years in the making here. And the the thing is, I don't know that I've had that many viral posts. I've had a few over the years. I don't know that I've had but maybe 3 or 4 viral videos, right? It's not been, oh, all of his shit gets a million views and stuff like that. And so I get lucky every now and then, but I've stayed consistent with it. Honestly, the viral stuff rarely brings in the clients anyway, right? It's the organic stuff that brings them in. But I started a lot of trends on the internet over the years. Before I showed up cussing with tattoos and shit, nobody was doing that. Everybody was prim and proper, and they were treating Facebook kind of like how you would treat LinkedIn. And people would say, oh, you shouldn't cuss on here, and oh, you're gonna have to put on a suit and jacket if you're gonna go and train salespeople. And I was like, well, I'm just going to try this my way and we'll see. Back in 2017, we were flexing private jets that we had chartered and shit like that, and again, this is 7 years ago. All this is normal now on the internet, but we were doing it 7 years ago. We were, posting pics with our Lamborghinis and charter jets and going to all these cool places. Like, we burned that shit up, like I said, 7 years ago. And so, it's just been a lot of people that have been watching me. They can go back if they just find me today. they can go back and watch my old YouTube stuff. They can go check out my previous Instagram posts and stuff like that. And you can truly see the evolution of just this motherfucker put in the work. He put in the,
Mhm.
you know what I mean? That's all I've done is just put in the work. And sometimes you win, sometimes you get a big hit, sometimes nobody likes your shit, but you still work regardless, you know?
Just keep pumping.
But you know, I'm at a point where I've done all this cool stuff and you know, I've thrown these big huge events with all these celebrities and superstars and spoke on all these stages and stuff, man. Probably my biggest, and I'm still trying to figure this out. I'm like, shit, what's next? I feel like I did too much too soon. And
Yeah.
if
Okay.
you check everything off, just because you check everything off on your vision board doesn't mean you don't got to go back to work the next day. It's just now you've got that shit, but you still got like it's not like you get that shit and the curtain falls and you got money for the rest of your life or whatever the case may be. It's like, okay, I got this shit on a vision board. Now what the fuck do I do? You know, and it's like, okay, make another vision board, but I don't really want nothing else. I got
Okay.
everything I wanted. I didn't believe I was going to get that shit. And so I'm kind of at that point in my life where it's like, you know, I need to build another vision board, but it needs to be about people and legacy and things of that nature versus, you know, getting material things like cars and house and shit like that. I need to to in my mind, and again, like I said, this is something I've been struggling with for about 6, 7 months, maybe longer, is that, you know, I've done so much cool shit, which, yeah, helped build a personal brand and stuff like that. But to do some of the things these guys are doing now, it's like, ah, shit, we were doing that 7 years ago. We're always having to stay ahead and I'm running out of runway here. You know what I mean? And,
Yeah.
you know, I'm at a point where it's been nice to have a big brand, but, you know, I never wanted to be like, and I'm not famous, but I never wanted to be recognized in most places I go. You know, it's rare that somebody doesn't know my wife or myself. Um, and again, it's because we put on, so I've had 84,000 people buy shit from me. So, I mean, we've sold a ton of people products and, you know, but I never expected to be like recognized or anything like that. I always thought, okay, I can just be a business owner behind the scenes, but social media has really changed that. If I were to start all over again, I would build a brand instead of my person, like instead of me personally, I would build a brand because I can't ever sell me. You know, like me,
True.
I'm not a sellable business
Yeah, yeah. You are
unless
the
they get that, unless I get that Neuralink shit. I might be able to just like put the Neuralink on autopilot and run the business, me not really be there or something.
indeed, indeed. No, yeah, yeah. No, that makes sense, man. Wow, that's awesome. That's a lot of accomplishments you've got. Yeah, and I was just hanging out with John Maxwell at a mastermind 2 week, I think it was like 2 weeks ago. He's like, just live a life of significance, right? So,
I
like you
like
said,
John, but I don't want to be like him and Tony and Grant. I don't want to be 60, 70 years old still doing this shit.
yeah, me either. No, they're amazing people and they
No,
live
they're
with
great people. Absolutely. It's just that that's not my vision. You know, I'm cranking, I'm 45. I'm like, dude, I got 55. I ain't gonna be doing this shit at 60, you know. Like I'm
the
still gonna be working, but I don't want to be on stage and traveling around and shit like that. That's not my desire. Watch me end up having to do that shit then, but because you never know what the future holds. But that's never really been my desire. My desire is just to help people, and somewhere one day I'll find somebody to pass the torch to. You know,
Sweet. No, yeah, awesome. Cool, cool. So yeah, you're known as the hardcore closer. What's the number one sales tip you would give to upcoming new entrepreneurs?
um, listen, you know, in our world today, the consumer's pretty fucking smart. They're not some uneducated, you know, stay-at-home mom housewife from the 60s anymore that you can Jedi mind trick into buying a car or buying a hearing aid or an information product or any of that. The prospects today, even the older people, because they've been shaped too, they know what an advertisement looks like, they know what a sales pitch sounds like. But the key is to get the prospect to desire to buy as opposed to being sold. And, you know, people talk about the one call close and handling objections. And of course, you have to do all that, but you can bypass all of that usually if you just have two character traits. Number one is be empathetic. How does a person become empathetic? I've been saying this for 20 damn years now on video. And empathetic just it involves listening. They're telling you a story, don't fucking interrupt them. Listen, they're trying to tell you a story so that you can understand where they're coming from, so that if you can, you can provide a solution to whatever problem they have. Right? We don't sell a product. No matter what you sell, you don't sell a product. You sell a solution to a problem. Hearing aids, the problem is they can't hear. Right? Tax services, the problem is they don't know how to do taxes and they don't want to overpay. Mortgages, the problem is they need a loan, they need a home. We're not selling what we actually sell, so we need to listen to them. Even if you hear the same story from every prospect 20 times a day, like I do, I already know their problem. I already know the solution to their problem 5 seconds into the conversation, but I don't interrupt them and give them that because I need them to feel like they've dumped everything they need on me in order for me to understand their situation. That's called empathy, right? Second thing you need is confidence. Because if you hit me up and you're like, why should I buy Apex? And I'm like, well, it might work for you. It's $3,000 for a lifetime subscription. So I don't know if you have that kind of money or not. If I talk to you like that, that doesn't
Yeah.
sound too confident. It's like, damn, he thinks 3 grand's a lot of money and he doesn't seem real proud of that product versus, dude, you'd be a great fit, bro. We get you right in there, push you to the front of the line. I know you got 3 grand, bro. You're a baller. You be in there for life with one payment, meet thousands of cool people, probably get a whole bunch of people sharing your hearing aids and shit like that. Dude, you'd be great for it, right? So having that empathy, listening to it, and then the confidence to actually say, hey, here's my product's awesome and here's why it's going to work for you. Those two traits are really all you need. And empathy, again, comes from listening. Product your confidence is going to come from product knowledge.
Yeah. No, yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. Yeah, in the beginning, I didn't know how to sell. Back then, back in like 2017, 2018, I ran into Grant Cardone and I bought his sales Cardone University, and that helped a lot. But yeah, what you're saying is definitely on point. Cool.
Yeah, and I don't think, a lot of that Cardone University is kind of older. It's older because Grant made it a long time ago, but um, you know, the B2C world, you can still get away with some of the stuff in those older trainings, but dude, the prospect's smart these days. They're really, really fucking smart these days, and they're experienced. They've been sold some shit.
Yeah.
So you gotta, now is the time where true salespeople are really getting tested because the prospect's getting smarter, which is a good thing. If you're an honest, confident, empathetic salesperson, they'll love you because most of us aren't.
Yeah. No, yeah, you got to listen to the problem, and at the end, once they're done, you offer the solution.
Yep.
Cool. So, just real quick, last. So, what do you think's the craziest thing you've done in business?
Man, I've been through some shit, good, like good and bad, just like most business owners. I've the craziest thing I ever did was I had this idea to go big in the event space. And it was like the story is I had been throwing this event, like I said, for 5 or 10 people, and it was growing to 40, 50 people. And then after a few years of doing that in 2017, I said, you know what? I'm going to create like a reunion for all the people that went through this class. Right. And so I started this reunion and we had like 150 people at it. It was like, oh shit, there's 150 people here. This is crazy. Right.
Yeah.
Then 2018, we threw it, we had like 200 people. Then 2019, we threw it and we had like 500 people. It's like, oh shit. But earlier that year in 2019, I'd thrown an event uh, just for the public and I sold like 1,000 tickets in 30 days. And I'm like, oh shit. Okay, maybe I'm
Wow.
onto some with these bigger events. So 2020 happens, the world gets shut down. I lose my money on the event that I had planned. But what I did instead was I gave everybody uh their money back that wanted their money back. Some people they wanted store credit, so we sold them, courses and shit like that. And they were about to be at home for the next 6 months and they ain't got shit to do anyway. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So during COVID. And so I decided to throw the event anyway, but I was going to do it virtually. And again, nobody was doing this shit at the time, but I've been running pre-recorded webinars for years at that point. And I was like, I'm gonna call it a virtual live event and I'm just going to use Open Broadcaster to reuse videos. And so I went got a lot of my celebrity and famous friends to shoot them speaking for 30 to 45 minutes on a topic or whatever, and send me the video. And we gave that whole event away. All the famous people that spoke there. There was NFL players, whole bunch of famous people that spoke there, and we gave it away to everybody. So like 30,000 people watched it because there was nothing going on but us or the Tiger King, and back in 2020. So we're like, oh shit, man, we got 30,000 people to watch this. And we had a ton of goodwill because so many people were happy. We gave them their money back because a lot of places weren't, or we gave them store credit, whichever they wanted. They were grateful we didn't just like take the money and run. And in 2021, I threw an event for 1,000 people, and it was called $1 Million Mastermind. So we changed the name to $1 Million Mastermind like around 2019. And so 2021, we threw it for 1,000 people. It sold out really fast, and had some superstar people there. Pissed off the hotel because we weren't supposed to have that many people there. And in 2022, I was like, I think we can go bigger. So I
Mhm.
rented out an entire hockey stadium that holds like 7,000 people. And I got, at one point I sent a $1.2 million wire to Tom Brady. He was going to speak there, but um, somebody else ended up outbidding me on the same day, which is crazy. And I ended up getting that money back. But at that event, Ed Milet wasn't speaking at the time outside of his corporate gigs. That got him. It was like other than his corporate gigs, it was one of his first like influencer type events, right? And plus, everybody was still kind of California lockdown from COVID. I got ET out of retirement. He came and spoke. I got who else was there? I think David Harris Jr. was there. But then I got like Rick Ross to perform in the nighttime, and Paul Wall and Mike Jones and Twista. And dude, so it was like this huge event. And then like David Goggins was there, and David, he was retired from speaking at the time too. And he was actually working in Canada, and I cut a deal with him because I've known David for 7 years at this point, but I cut a deal with him, to come and speak at this event for me. And we had like 2,300 people at this event. And we didn't sell the 7,000 seats, but everybody I know was there. And we had all these amazing speakers, and we had Logan Paul was there. He spoke there. Like, dude, it was like top notch, crazy ass event. And we
Wow.
pulled it off, and we've done it twice since then. And now a lot of people are doing the event thing because I think a lot of them saw what I did and they're like, "Oh shit, I'm going to do that because it's getting pretty crowded over there."
Yeah.
But they never give the operator the credit. They think, "Oh, it's because he got these people to speak, they sold." It's like, no, that was our community that turned out for us. In all reality.
Yeah. Wow. And then are you planning to do any events upcoming or that big?
So
Yeah.
I think this year was my last like big event. And the reason why is like been there, done it, and it's a lot of headache. It really is.
Yeah.
And so I bought at my office here that I'm in is in a 22,000 square foot building that we own. And so I built an auditorium downstairs, stage, lights, screens, fucking LED, 7 foot by 20 foot LED wall, like everything you need for events. And so it holds right at 300 people. So these events will be limited to 300 people in the future. So
Okay. Just smaller ones, it's better, or why did you make that shift?
yeah, it's hard dealing with being the little guy dealing with the big venues. Hotels rip you off. You know, Live Nation got me for like unexpected six figures this year from the event that we did this year. So I'm just, and there's no winning. We're the little guy. It's not like I'm, some big operation like Pepsi where I can go in there and negotiate some deals with them or whatever. So that's kind of a pain in the ass because you always leave going, oh shit, well, how much money did we make, or did we make money, because of the bills that come in after the fact. So I don't like that. Plus 300 is still a lot of people,
Yeah.
but it's a sizable enough audience to where you don't feel like you're like, when I go to the Cowboys game, or if I was to go to a LA Rams game, I'm gonna want to sit. I'm not gonna want to sit up at the top a long ways away from the action. I'm gonna want, if I'm gonna go, I want to sit where the action is, 50-yard line, maybe the first row of seats or whatever the case, maybe a box down below. But I don't want to be way the hell out of the way. And so I feel like anybody can throw these big events with celebrities and stuff, but actually creating a community of people that get to know each other, and you walk down the aisle and talk to them and they're not a half a mile away, or in a seating section that you got to go up 3 rows of stairs to get to and shit like that. Just
Yeah.
I like it better.
Okay. Keep it more, smaller crowd, more intimate.
Yeah, and if you were to throw an event for 3,000 people, I'd love to speak at it. I just don't want to run the motherfucker. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. I actually threw my first event here in Beverly Hills. It was called the Making Feria Mastermind. So yeah, I'm trying to get a little movement like that going. So I just launched this company. It's called Making Feria. So Feria, I'm pretty sure you know what it is. Maybe it's money in Spanish, right? So Making Feria. And yeah, I'm trying to, test it out because, I just have a calling to help people. So, I threw it. I had a bunch of great speakers talk about different topics around business. But I'm just new. I'm just barely getting my feet wet in that. So
Gotcha. You can always join Apex. We can help you with that shit. We know a thing or two about it.
yeah. I'm gonna talk to I was talking to Zach. So
Yeah, he's
yeah,
great.
maybe I gotta get out there, Dallas, meet you in person, and it's sounds like something amazing. So thank you again, brother, and yeah, thank you for being on the Making Feria podcast. I really appreciate it, and we'll catch you guys in the next episode of the Making Feria podcast.
Later.